Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another Burlingame. It's a small town podcast sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. My name is Mark Lucchese, also known as Mark at the Mic, and my guest today is Isabelle de Paz, owner of All That Glitters at 1454 Broadway in Burlingame. Before we begin the interview, please go to Instagram or Facebook and search All That Glitters Burlingame, and you can see many of the unique and interesting items that Isabelle carries in her store. Isabelle, thank you for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very, very grateful for this.
Well, we're just going to have a little fun for the next 20 minutes or so, okay? Maybe half hour. So from one retailer to another, because you know I worked at Molly Stone's for a long time, and I enjoy retail. How's business?
Business is good. Business has picked up a lot, especially that it is October. October is always really, really busy on Broadway.
Yeah, that's great. So, Isabelle, I've got some notes here. You graduated from San Mateo High in 1972. You went on to CSM. You transferred and graduated from San Francisco State with the hopes of maybe becoming a teacher. So, what happened after San Francisco State?
Well, I took a year off. I went traveling. I have my family in Europe, so I went traveling. And then when I came back, I started to work. I had to get a job and then I think I just changed completely my courses. I stayed working. And
what kind of work?
I was wholesaling costume jewelry in the city. In the beginning, it was costume jewelry.
Is that where you developed this passion for selling costume jewelry and jewelry? And
yes, this is where I met the people that I think changed my course of life, because they were buying wholesale and they were reselling at the flea market. And I went to see them at the flea market, and that's when I discovered a whole new world.
And what made you want to go off on your own?
I think I was working, by that time I was working wholesaling fine jewelry. I was working very, very hard doing all the jewelry shows, all the trade shows, and I thought I'd love to have a store like this, but with fake jewelry, all the wonderful costume jewelry that I had collected.
Were you living in the city or in Burlingame or San Mateo?
I was living in San Mateo, but I was in school in the city, and I was working daytime in the city. I was also working at nighttime in the city, because I was also hostessing in restaurants at night.
Right. So tell me, how did All the Glitters come around on Primrose in Burlingame? How did you discover that, and how did you get it going?
I discovered it because I've always banked around the corner at Bank America. Mm-hmm. And I had looked in the city, again, because I was always in the city, working day and night. I looked on every street in the city that was popular, and the stores were too big or too expensive. And then I drove around to Bank America one day and saw this tiny little store on Primrose that said for lease. And I thought, oh, what's that? So I stopped and asked them, and it just kind of went from there.
So it said for lease. You went in there and you got something going, and you signed a lease for what, X amount of years or something?
Well, they had a year and a half left on their lease, and it was a wonderful store with beautiful dishes and silverware. It was Serpils. They had a year and a half left on their lease, and they were kind enough to, I guess, believe in me and trust me most of all, because I took over their lease.
So did you have a little money bankrolled for this or what?
Not too much. I had some savings, and as I said, I was working 2 full-time jobs. So I had money, but I borrowed from my parents.
Okay.
And from a few great, great friends.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And the first year I opened, I paid everyone back in full the first year.
That's amazing.
It kind of took off instantly.
Yeah. And you spent 25 years there on Primrose?
25 on Primrose, yes.
And developed the following, developed the customer count, developed the whole thing, relationships.
Yes, really, really, really steady customers.
Yeah.
Very faithful customers.
And as life goes on, we know that things change, and you left Primrose and headed over to Broadway, where you currently are.
Yes, definitely. Someone bought the building, and everyone evacuated the building.
Things change, right.
So then we move on.
Yeah. How did you find the location on Broadway?
Oh, my God, the same way. I was driving around. I was driving all over the place, and you just see these signs in the window.
Was there a break in the action between Primrose and Broadway? Did you was it a month before you found something?
I think I found it, I think, pretty quickly.
You did?
But maybe I should have taken time off. People say, oh, you should take a year off, But no, I was very worried about not having a job or a store.
That's a big risk, right?
Yes.
That's when you start to lose customers when you're not open.
I did not know what it was not to be working.
Yeah.
So,
All That Glitters is kind of a catchy name. How did you get that?
well, everyone kept telling me, being that I was working with costume jewelry and not real, all that glitters is not gold. And I thought, that kind of fits what I'm doing.
It works for you,
Yeah,
huh?
I didn't want to name it after my own name.
Yeah.
So,
let me see. 25 years on Primrose,
yes.
which is just off of Burlingame Avenue, and 15 years now on Broadway, give or take?
I think just about, yes.
So 40 years in business.
I guess so. I didn't realize it went that fast.
Man. Is the city of Burlingame doing anything to promote business on Broadway?
I think it's harder for them to do a lot on Broadway because it's a main street to the freeway. It's not as if they can close it down as often for events. We do have a great business association on Broadway.
You do.
And they do. They work very hard, I think, at trying to promote it. They redid all the lighting.
Yeah.
It's just very hard, I think, because I'm not sure how much can be done by the city or by all the landlords. Or
Has the Fresh Market ever been on Broadway or one of the side streets?
Yes, we had it on Cappuccino for a while, which was adorable, and it was really nice. But again, I think they only did it on half the street. They could not close it all the way through, just because of the
How
freeway.
long ago was that?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
A couple of years back, way before COVID already, way before.
So we have this thing that's once a year on the Avenue called, and I'm not sure if it's just the exact words, but I'll just title it. It's the Art and Wine Festival.
Yes.
If the city council or whoever decides to make these decisions wanted to move it to Broadway, how would you feel about that?
Well, I adore the Wine and Festival. And yes, we don't get business on that day, but that's not the point. The point is that I close down and I go support all the merchants doing it. It's fun. It's kind of festive. But I think it's fun to have something like that going on. And I think it brings a lot of people to our street who might not be shopping with us that day, but maybe they'll come back. I just think it gives exposure. I mean, it's not the end of the world for me to close one day. I think all of us can do that. Or, okay, it's not so bad.
Yeah. So if it came to Broadway, would you keep your store open?
No, because I want to go shop around and
Really?
see what they're all carrying.
Really?
I've discovered great artists that way too. You go to all the art fairs and the festivals, and there's always somebody doing something super fabulous. And
Yeah.
but or else I'll close in the morning, I'll go walk around, and then I'll open in the afternoon. I mean, I think it's a fun day where you could just kind of
Yeah.
take it easy. And
I don't know if all the merchants have that same feeling,
No.
but good for you.
No, but I understand that, because even when I was on Primrose, we don't get business that day. That is, I totally understand everybody's viewpoint. Me too. I get no business that day, but hopefully we get business
Right.
every other day of the year.
It's the
and
residuals.
It could kind of balance it out and give somebody else a chance to be discovered and for us to have fun one day too.
So we're going to take your customers or customers that haven't been in your store inside your store now for a moment, okay? A little walk around. And I've got some notes here. So I'm going to just say the shop features vintage and current costume jewelry,
Yes.
Native American turquoise,
Yes.
Mexican folk art, hats, necklaces, rings, bracelets, tiaras, and so much more.
And so much more.
The glass cases that surround the interior walls of your shop are just packed with merchandise. I mean, you've got merchandise. And it's neatly arranged and dusted. It's always clean. It's well presented. Currently, your store is, featuring Halloween. And if you walk in there, starting with your front window, of course, your front window is amazing. It's a wonderful job. And the interior is just loaded with Halloween goodies. It's kind of a Halloween stop for now, I guess, right?
One of my favorite displays is Halloween.
Yeah, it shows.
It
So
shows.
do you do the window decorating and the interior decorating? Does anybody come in and help you with that?
No, I've never ever let anyone do it except me, because we all get these visions, and if someone's in your way, it just doesn't come out the same way for some reason. I
Yeah.
have to do it myself.
And then all the merchandise that's in there, okay, all the stuff that you have in there. Are you buying out of catalogs?
No, never.
Are you buying from salesmen that come and see you?
I have so much inventory. I have a lot of decor left. I have a lot of private collections that have never even seen the store. I mean, as far as suppliers for all kinds of things, like all the other retail stores, we have wholesalers, we have I mean, for Halloween, it's different. Yeah, we have just our regular wholesalers who supply us too.
Do you go on buying trips?
I've gone on buying trips with COVID. It's been very difficult, but, I've gone to Europe, I've gone to France, you go to New Mexico, I've gone to Mexico, to Arizona, and then as you're traveling, sometimes not necessarily on a buying trip, but you discover these artists and you discover these suppliers, and then you keep them forever.
So I see that, we mentioned that you have Native American turquoise jewelry. Is that what you're buying at the reservation? Is there a certain reservation you like to go to?
A lot of times. I mean, I'm in New Mexico, I'm in Santa Fe, and then a lot of private as well, designers and makers, yes.
But you haven't been on a buying trip lately?
Since COVID, no, nowhere. But I hate to say I have enough things to fill my store for the next 10 years. Probably. I should not be going on any buying trips for a long time. I don't know if I'm a hoarder or what's going on that way.
No, you're just a retailer that wants to have a lot of merchandise.
Collector sounds
the
better.
The store shows it that you're ready to go. You have lots of stuff. Great.
Collector sounds better than hoarder.
So let's say Halloween now comes to an end. I know we're just, 2 weeks away from it. Comes to an end. Do you take time to mark things down and put them on a sale, a clearance sale or anything like that?
I don't do that after the specific holidays. I don't think it's fair for people who just bought everything at regular price and then tomorrow it's half off. Or I don't do that. I know I should. A lot of stores, the big department stores do that. I just think it's rude to our customers.
Good for you.
I pack it up. What can I say? We're supposed to do a big sale and we don't.
That's your choice, though. See,
I mean,
don't think you have to do...
I have things on sale throughout the year.
Yeah.
There's little cases with different things marked down.
Right.
But Christmas either, it's not right. People come in, I don't feel right doing that. I've never done it like that.
So when Halloween is completed, will you roll into a Thanksgiving seasonal thing, or do you go directly into Christmas and Hanukkah? How will the front change?
I used to do the entire month of October for Halloween, the entire month of November for Thanksgiving and fall. And now people do Christmas in July already.
I know.
It's
I see that.
really hard.
Yeah.
There's so much competition with online, with all the big stores doing it. It's really sad. So I do Day of the Dead kind of middle of November. Then I hate to say, I do Christmas window after the Halloween, but I do have a whole section in the store that looks like fall. Even the mannequins are decorated like fall instead of Christmas right away.
Right.
So...
And then as you transition out of the holiday season into the first of the year, do you already have something in your mind that you might do? Or does that just come...
In between, right after Christmas, I kind of change it a little bit and make a New Year's window, more festive and fun and crazy. And then I wait till a little bit of the middle of January. Then it's my favorite. My next favorite window is Valentine for February.
Oh, yes, right.
Being that it's on the 15th, or 14th, I'm sorry, February 14th, you kind of have to do it a month before.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. You do these things so close together. And
You mentioned to me a bridal display or something. Do you do bridal displays in the windows?
I've done bridal windows, and they're beautiful. I use vintage gowns. I use vintage veils. Yeah, bridal windows, magnificent. I did one recently, and it's been very, very busy.
Yeah.
Because, again, during COVID, no one was getting married, and now all the parties and weddings and festivities are back, so...
Indeed, they are. My son just
Bridal
got married
window,
2 weeks
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Bridal window is very pretty because, you put out all the tiaras. It makes everybody dream, not just bridal,
Yes.
but...
Yep. So how about telling our listeners a little story about your friends over at Morning Glory, Mo and Paulette? I know that Mo did a lot of the window dressing for Morning Glory for many years, but she came to you one day and asked you to borrow some tiaras. Is that correct?
Maureen actually came and borrowed jewelry. So
She bought jewelry.
Tiaras later on for different windows. But the first time she did that, I had just opened up. And Maureen came in and said, hey, may I have some of your jewelry to put in my window in order to promote your store and tell people you exist and tell people you opened up, because you're on the side street, and a lot of times people do not go on the side street, and their store was right there. They were where Copenhagen is. And
Yeah.
I was pretty blown away. I was so honored and over the moon to have my jewelry in their window. This real store, established store. And so she did, and I thought that was so amazing for another retailer to do that. And but the second shock was when she came back to my store and brought me a check because she had sold everything for me.
Yes, I think that's a great story.
So you never forget that.
No, you don't.
Maureen used to do all the windows, so she
Yeah.
was dealing with that. But Maureen and Paulette both have always supported me that way. And
I think it's pretty amazing. They've had 50 years in business. You've had 40. Together, that's 90 years in business.
later on, over the years, once I was established on Primrose, Gloria Malouf at Malouf's did the same thing. She had asked me to participate with her to accessorize the clothing because she would do the Park of Fashion shows. So I'm very grateful to these ladies for always including me and thinking of me. And
Gloria and Sam are wonderful people. That's nice to hear. I really like hearing
they
that.
work so hard. And Gloria is always so gracious about always, she never forgets anyone, and she always includes us. And we all work really hard. We all support each other. But when you first open, or you don't expect other stores to do that. So I'll never forget that. You can never forget that someone has done that. And that they still do. We all send each other people, so.
Yeah. What's the average age of your customer?
I think maybe it starts at 4 years old on up. Of course, they come in with the parents when they're 3 and 4, but I think the little girls walk by and they see the little tiaras, the little princess outfits and the crazy shiny glitter, and they want to come in. And then every age group, as old as someone can be, they come in.
Amazing. That's great.
Yes.
What about the price points? I mean, are you considered expensive? Are you considered, hey, I can come in and buy something for $10 or less, or $10? You know what I mean?
Both. I have every price. I actually have little baskets where there's fun little trinkets for $1 even.
Yeah.
And then it goes on and on. There's literally, I've always believed that you should have every price point in a store like mine, because you don't want people to be miserable when they're in there thinking there's not even a thing I can get in here, when I kind of want everything because it's so shiny and glittery and pretty. And every price point, I think, is the key to not just to good business, but to make people feel good instead of bad.
Yeah. Besides the jewelry and the costumes and things like that, you sell a lot of other things. You have these Gothic dresses in there.
Clothing. I have crazy clothes. Normal clothing, evening gown, mostly vintage. I don't really do too many of the new manufacturers, but just very different.
You have concert and festivals.
Yeah, people go to Burning Man.
Right.
People go to concerts. People do all kinds of things. I do a lot of amount of charity functions where they do themes. So they dress up for Gatsby, or they go to the mansions and do hat parties, tea parties. I have all that.
And they come down to all the glitters to buy these things.
Yes, and all year long I kind of have the costume clothing all year because of those special events. And then theme parties, theme weddings, theme birthdays, theme everything.
Fabulous. So, Isabelle, you've earned a reputation for customer service. Obviously, for 40 years in business, you have very good customer service. What differentiates you from other retailers in town? Why are you so good?
I think the retailers in town, we're all the same. All of us who are single, small business owners, I think we all pretty much carry on that way. But customer service, I think, it's my store, which means you can do anything for your customers. I can tear up the whole store if they want. I can break any necklace. I can redo them, redesign them. I close at 6, I stay open until 8. They want me to meet them in the morning, I do. I've met people on days off. You do whatever they want. You're just grateful for all these customers. And I love what I'm doing, so it's not really, I don't even think of it as customer service. Think of it as natural, normal.
It's what you're supposed to do.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back just for a moment here to 25 years on Primrose and 15 on Broadway. Differentiate it for me. Tell me the goods and the bads of being on Burlingame. Well, Primrose off of Burlingame Ave, of course, but compared to Broadway. Are you feeling pretty comfortable after 15 years on Broadway? You probably took a
Yes.
lot, all your customers followed you over there, of course.
A lot of them did. A lot of them did not, or they say, "Gee, when you used to be in Burlingame, I still am in Burlingame." But I don't know. I'm busy. I'm grateful. I'm still there. I'm still open. There is not as much foot traffic on Broadway, but I don't know how it works. It just works.
Yeah.
I'm more of a destination, I think, than all the walk-by traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when I have a window such as Halloween or Christmas, you wish you had 300 people walking by every hour. but it still works. I'm still there. We get the tourists. They walk down from the hotels. It's been word of mouth. So word of mouth, I think, is the best advertisement. People will make it a point to come over, even if they're not just walking around on that street.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, it's a given that it is busier on Burlingame Avenue as far as
And
traffic.
40 years in business, how much longer? You want to hang in there?
Oh, I don't know, forever.
Good.
I could do it till I'm 90,
That's
100.
great.
I mean, even if I open just 2 days a week, why
Yeah,
not?
That's great.
I don't know. I really, really like what I'm doing.
I just want to make a mention that during COVID, you were closed for 7 months,
Just about. Yes,
and your rent continued.
yes.
Did you go down to the store very often to check in on things, or just to, what I
I would
mean?
go pick up the mail. I would go once a week to pick up the mail.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, all those 7 months, I think I could have made millions of necklaces. I never even touched a piece of jewelry.
Really?
I think everybody's mind just went out the door during those times, and I don't know. No.
Do you accept all major credit cards?
Almost, not American Express. Oh, I think I'm like a dinosaur in there as far as as far as technology is concerned. It's
Yeah.
really bad.
No, that's fine.
Really bad.
If somebody wanted to purchase a gift certificate at All the Glitters for your store, do you
Yes,
have
I
gift
do that.
Good
Sure.
for you. Good.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
We're sort of going to wrap this up now, but I wanted you to tell, and I mentioned it earlier, but I want you to tell our listeners the location of All That Glitters.
I'm at 1454 Broadway in Burlingame, California.
And once again, how do they find you on Instagram and Facebook?
Instagram, you have to put All That Glitters Burlingame, I do believe, or in Burlingame store on Facebook. I did not realize that there were so many different All That Glitters in the world. So,
Yeah.
but if they Google me, they can find the right store.
Yes.
It gives you the right address, my name, the right store.
And as a test, I did all of the above, and everything shows right up.
You did. Thank you
And I
so
just want to
much.
mention that you take all the photos, don't you?
I do.
That are on Instagram.
I think one of the greatest things of my store is the visuals.
Yeah.
It's just really pretty.
It is.
The mannequins are vintage. I mean, I deal with fun, amazing things. So.
I know you do. I urge all of our listeners, if you haven't been to All That Glitters, get down to 1454 Broadway and say hello to Isabelle and make a purchase or two if you can. Isabelle, thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks to Isabelle de Paz, owner of All That Glitters, for being a guest today on Burlingame. It's a small town podcast sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. Thanks to my videographer, the great Ray Tyler, Kathy and Shelby for editing and producing, and our musical director, Bray. You can hear more of Bray at bray.com. Finally, thanks to the Burlingame Library for allowing me to use Conference Room A as my adopted recording studio. The Burlingame Historical Society copyrights this video podcast, and no part of this program can be copied or rebroadcast without permission. So until next time, everybody, see you around Burlingame. It's a small town.